And just like that, we are back live once again. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Football Flex. I hope everyone is doing very well. Good afternoon. We're back for another watch along. It, of course, is Newcastle travelling to Villa Park to face Aston Villa. I'm just making sure I've got everything set up as it should be. Wait a minute. What do you call it? I was actually scoffing down some lunch. My lunchtime criminality. Yes. I've got some noodles here from the gym kitchen, and there's still some broth in there. So I'll have that. It's like being on the terraces, having some hot bovril or something like that. Turns into a nice soup. So I'll be having that during the match. But it's the first lunchtime kickoff of the season. As I mentioned, it is Newcastle United. A bit of a Alexander Isak-less Newcastle United travelling to Villa Park. Villa, of course, still struggling with that FFP and PSR. Jacob Ramsey on his way, of course, to Newcastle. Has that actually officially been announced yet? I'm not sure if it officially has been or not. But yes, on his way to Newcastle. And a lot of people are interested because, of course, they've been the sort of best of the rest the last few seasons, haven't they? Both Newcastle and Aston Villa. Newcastle, of course, in the Champions League through Premier League participation, finishing 5th. The year before that, it was Villa, the team was sort of best of the rest that had qualified for the Champions League through an impressive Premier League performance. And now all eyes are on them again because it's kind of like, well, what have they got about them this season? You know, lots of clubs, including Manchester United, of course, have spent big money. Newcastle, they have strengthened through the likes of, Anthony Elanga. But it's all discussion about Alexander Isak and if Isak's going to stay and if he's going to go to Liverpool. Watching the Liverpool game last night, you would actually say, forget all this chatter about them getting, a forward in Alexander Isak. They don't need a forward. They certainly need they need defenders, man. They absolutely need defenders for me anyway. They need Mark Gahey. That could be the real big signing for them actually in this transfer window. So we'll see if indeed anything happens when it pertains to that. But the team news, that's what you've come for. Let me check out the team news here. Team news, we've got, of course, no Emi Martinez for Aston Villa today. He's still suspended off the back of that red card he got in the final game of the season against Manchester United. Of course, he's been linked away over the summer to a move to Old Trafford. But in goal, they've got, is it Bizot? Is that how you say it? Or Bizot? A back four, according to Google, of Cash, Konza, Mings, and Lucadinha. Midfield of Kamara and Onana. In front of them, you've got Yuri Tielemans in the 10. You've got McGinn and Rodgers either side, and then Ollie Watkins up front. In terms of Newcastle, they've got Pope in goal. They've got a back four of Livramento, Byrne, Fabian Schär, and Kieran Trippier. Midfield three of Joelinton Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. Of course, a really strong midfield Newcastle have at their disposal. Then a front three of Harvey Barnes and Anthony Elanga. Of course, a debut in the Premier League for Newcastle for Anthony Elanga today. And Anthony Gordon through the middle. No Alexander Isak, of course. We watched that one with great interest, don't we? Big up to everyone in the chat. As I mentioned yesterday, the first of many watch-alongs this season here on the Football Flex. Some will be just myself, some will be just Flex, and others will be both. Of course, we'll be live for Premier League games, Champions League games, Europa League games, you name it, we'll be covering it here. Big up Ridwan in the chat. He also says, I'm expecting goals from Watkins. He's my captain on Fantasy Premier League. Akshay says, what's up, Owen? And also says, we're getting a Watkins and Rodgers game for my Fantasy Premier League team. Well, we'll see. I'll be honest, yeah. I'll be honest, and done a Fantasy Premier League this year. It's just I always, because I started and I just don't end up like even doing it. So kind of what's the point? Really. I'm not one of those people that I just forget. I end up forgetting and I do it for a couple of weeks and I forget and then it's kind of over. So I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to do it this time round. As the teams head out, the players are on their way to the pitch at Villa Park. The first lunchtime kickoff in this brand new Premier League season. John McGinn and Bruno Guimaraes lead out their team in the West Midlands. Yes. Delicious. Of course, Crazy Train plays. It's actually a recording of the last performance he ever made, which was at Villa Park as well. K1 says, what if you and the team did it in the office with FPL with a 30-minute show? I guarantee there'll be plenty of views. Maybe. We've got a stacked schedule at United View as well. There's a new show on Thursdays every week as well now. It's James and myself with a revamped Trafford talk every Thursday, probably 7 p.m. every Thursday. It's actually a Thursday evening show, which I'm really excited about that. So I think the schedule roughly looks like now for United View every week. Of course, Monday, you got the morning show. And, of course, you've got the transfer view. The transfer view, you've got red carpet. The morning show could be a transfer view or morning view once the transfer window shut. Tuesday, you got the morning show and your Flex and KG show in the evening. Wednesday, you've got your morning show. And that's kind of an open slot for interviews or special videos, Flex's views. Thursday, you've got your morning show. Then you've got What the Devil, then Trafford Talk in the evening. Fridays, you've got your morning show. And you've got the Trinity live at 4 p.m. Heading into a Premier League weekend. And then the full view most of the time will be on a day that the match is not. So whether that's a Saturday or a Sunday. And that'll be effective from next week. So like I said, a very busy schedule, very loaded schedule at United View, which is going to be exciting. So hopefully we're in for a good game today. Hopefully we're in for a good game. On paper, you think it would be. But they're two teams that kind of like to play on the break, like to play on the transition, which you wonder, is that going to sort of counter each other out? Slightly interesting, I suppose, that Nick Pope's in goal for Newcastle today. Maybe kind of people thought it might be Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Big up Daniel Luciano and Imran in the chat as well. Be sure to click the like button if you haven't already, and be sure to subscribe. Of course, Emi Martinez suspended. Marco Bizot, 34 years old, it's easy for me to say, from the Netherlands, makes his Aston Villa debut. Anthony Elanga, my son. Manchester United actually received a fee as part of this deal. The question is Elanga trading up? You think so? I think Newcastle are a better team than Forest. I think Forest, there's a sort of general acceptance they're not going to be the same that they were last season. If anything, they were actually already kind of on the decline, weren't they? They were kind of already on the decline towards the end of last season, Forest, and I don't think it's expected they're going to be as good. Maybe a top half finish, perhaps. But you never know. They might be better off. Maybe they're being very shrewd, perhaps. Time will tell. Ridwan says, I'm expecting goals from Mbeumo, Ekitike, Cunha, and a clean sheet from Trafford. Oh, wait. Yes, indeed. Before the match, we are going to observe a moment's silence in the memory of the late Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. I must say that was absolutely impeccably observed by the Aston Villa and Newcastle fans. That is, big respect to the Aston Villa and Newcastle fans. That was what you like to see. I mean, sometimes with those kind of things, as we've seen over the last week or so, they can be ruined by vocal, minority or one or two idiots in the crowd, but huge credit to them. That was really well observed. Just goes to show some things are more important than who you support in football. All right, so we're just about to kick off this one. I've got my timer ready, so you can sync up, folks. As Joelinton and is that Tonali about to kick the game off? And indeed, we have kicked off. And look at that, Newcastle doing the same kickoff that PSG do, where they kick off and they put it straight in the corner. Is this the new way of kicking off? The new way of kicking off is fizz the ball out for a corner and then you can box them in. I mean, I suppose it makes sense. That just becomes the norm, the new way of doing things. Game's gone, mate. Game's gone. Utter woke nonsense. Early pressure by John McGinn, Aston Villa's captain, of course, on Tino Livramento. And the decision goes the way of Newcastle. So we're well in now to our Premier League weekend. We've had our Friday night game. Now we're into our lunchtime kickoff. Yes. A full season ahead. Of course, these two teams that won't be in the Newcastle will be the Champions League, Villa will be in the Europa League. But it's a very exciting league to look at. No doubt about it. Ball up in the air. That's going to be a battle. Joelinton against Onana. Freshly bleached hair of Bruno Guimaraes. Matt Cash takes the throw. Sciliano says Forest will still be solid at the back. That's just standard for Nuno Espirito Santo's team. Whether they're really good or not this season depends on how many goals Chris Wood scores. Well, that's also the other part of it, isn't it? Because there was this, hey, fell over. John McGinn just fell over in front of the Newcastle fans. He slipped. But Sciliano, you do make it. John McGinn's laughing because he proper stacked it. He properly stacked it. No, you are. I think you are right because there was this feeling about Forest last season, wasn't there? They were. Well, here's Tielemans. Let this play out. It's intercepted. That Forest were. I hate XG, but they were massively overperforming their XG, weren't they? Oh, I tell you what, Anthony Elanga, he's through. He's through on goal. Defenders have tripped themselves up. It's Anthony Elanga. And it's a save by Bizot. And I tell you what, that's a massive chance. He's through on goal there, Elanga. Well, that might be a penalty. Referee wags his finger, says, no, look at the drama already. Anthony Gordon. They got deflected over the bar. We got a corner. Right, we got a game on our hands, folks. We've got a game. Well, defensively, it's a bit of a shambles by Aston Villa, it must be said. And I think Elanga should do better. It's actually quite a comfortable save for Bizot. But, nah, it's never a penalty. Gets the ball. And then you just see the deflected shot from Gordon. But Elanga's got to do better. That's a massive chance. And again, it was calamitous. I think Konsa and Mings take each other out. One thing's for certain. I mean, last night's game was frenetic. This one, football, it's just constant. It's just constant, isn't it? Absolutely constant. All right, corner. Kieran Trippier. Been linked with quite a few moves away from Newcastle this summer, but still there. Still the captain. Well, vice-captain. Ball in. I think Bruno Guimaraes is the captain, isn't he? Is Gordon. Whoa, and he's not the only person to slip over. Bruno Guimaraes has just slipped. Switch ball by Gordon. And it's McGinn trying to put the ball forward. And that'll be a throw into Villa. Well, what a good start. Opening 4 minutes. We've had chances, penalty calls, deflections. But Bizot does pass his first test. Although, again, I think that is a comfortable save. If I'm Anthony Elanga, I'm very frustrated that I don't think he gets enough on it. Good height for the keeper as well. Fabian Schär's just got a bit of an elbow to the mouth from Luca Digne. Both points were 66 for both sides last season. But, of course, Newcastle qualified for the Champions League because they scored 16 more goals. As Bizot just hoofs the ball towards the centre circle. Oh, Dan Burn went to climb, I think. They didn't really get anywhere near it. And Villa on the counter. Tielemans goes down. He wants a foul. Referee says play on, and it's a good advantage. Ollie Watkins. And that's swiped behind by Livramento in the end. And if the pace of this game keeps up as is, I mean, it's end to end. I mentioned they were two teams that played on the transition. So would they kind of counter each other out? But no, definitely not. They're just going at the other end on the transition on the counter every time, which if this continues up, it'll be a joy to watch. First 5 minutes have flown by. If you haven't already, click that like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. All right, corner ball, Aston Villa to take. There we go. Ball in. It's right towards the back post, deep. And Dan Burn, he's just sort of over the back there of Ollie Watkins, but no foul. Well, it's an attempted pass there by Matty Cash towards John McGinn, and it goes straight out for a goal kick. Now, there was a story, I don't know if you guys saw this, that Aston Villa had an issue with the multi-ball, basically. Last season, they were sort of delaying the start with the multi-ball and stuff like that. So they did suffer, they were penalized for it. Reportedly, there is a push by referees and officials this season to get the ball back into play quicker. So can't take a long time to take corners, goal kicks, throw-ins, what have you. Let's see how long they stick to it. There's always directives that start the season that 5-10 games in just completely disappear. So we'll see. Because, again, and that's the frustrating thing with officials, isn't it? They start these new initiatives or directives and just end up going nowhere. You know, after a while, they just get bored of them or they just forget. I don't know how many times we've got new handball rules to start the season with. Free kick to Newcastle. Trippier is going to send the ball up towards, going to ricochet around the box. Gordon tried to turn and shoot. And Bizot keeps it in. £3 million signing, Bizot, from Brest. 34 years old. There's a referee checking here. Bit of a delay for some reason. I wonder what. Someone's putting on their boot. It's Konza. So 8 minutes gone, still 0-0. Bizot plays it short to Konza. McGinn tries to turn. Livramento does really well there, actually. Here's Tielemans to Amadou Onana. Good pass. Morgan Rogers. Oh, he tried that. Just threw ball there towards Ollie Watkins. Just too much on it. But it's a good idea. Livramento to Dan Burn. Daniel Luciano says, do you think Newcastle have failed Eddie Howe in this transfer window so far? Let's have a look at Newcastle's incomings. Newcastle 25-26. Not the kit. I just want the wiki. There you go. And Tyrone Mings is going to play it back to Bizot and goal. So they've only made 2 signings in this window. Obviously, Anthony Elanga, £55 million. Malik, do you know it's a Thior from AC Milan, £34.3 million. But that's about it. Have made exits, made sales. Sean Longstaff to Leeds, £50 million. So that's a pure profit one. Dubravka's gone to Burnley for an undisclosed situation. Lloyd Kelly sold to Juventus for £15 million. And, of course, they have signed in Aaron Ciao. Thank you, Ridwan. Aaron Ramsdale, of course, they signed on loan from Southampton, who starts on the bench today. So it's one of those ones, isn't it? They've only made a couple of signings. The intent's been there, certainly, hasn't there, to make, obviously, signings. We know it's well documented about the pursuit of Šeško and Mbumo Cunha. Who else did they try to get? Trafford to... I do think they will make more signings. Now, whether or not that's failing Eddie Howe, whether it's not, it's just one of those ones of like, well, you're going up against, big teams in that regard that you're going to lose against. Like Man City, Manchester United, it's always going to be difficult. And, and Ramsey as well. It's difficult to say because, again, Newcastle, Harvey Barnes puts the ball in, header. Oh, tell you what, that's a header for Anthony Gordon. And it's one of those ones that Alexander Isak probably scores this. Probably scores. Look at this. Barnes, ball in between centre-backs. Isak scores it. Isak scores that for me. That's not one that you maybe expect Anthony Gordon to score because it's a free header in between the centre-backs, but that's one that Alexander Isak scores for me. That would be 1-0 Newcastle. Newcastle should be 2-0 up. Massive opportunity. Oh, good take that by Morgan Rogers. And he goes down. Was he just off balance anyway? The referee says he was. But his first touch to go past the Newcastle players is very good. That Newcastle, for me, looking at this opening few minutes, they'll need a striker. Whatever happens with this Isak situation, whatever happens, they will need a centre forward. Already, we've seen an opportunity where if you've got a centre forward, they'd be 1-0 up. If Benjamin Šeško got that opportunity where he was between two centre-backs, basically 6 yards out for a header, he should score. If Šeško gets that against Arsenal on Sunday, he should be scoring it. I don't care. So I think they'll get a striker, maybe a couple. As Ridwan says, they'll get Wissa, definitely. They're linked to Gonzalo Ramos. I know he said he was happy. He scored against Spurs midweek for PSG, didn't he? They need a striker. You see it here. It's the same kind of thing as Man United last weekend against Fiorentina, where you go desperately. They're hard to find, that kind of number 9 to play off, but if you've got one, they're invaluable. That's why they go for so much money. McGinn could pass out to Morgan Rogers. Oh, Watkins and McGinn kind of went into each other. Here come Newcastle again. They got Barnes and Alanga. That's good wide players, and obviously their midfield three is very strong. Barnes, ball across, go back post. Alanga scuffs it, and again, Anthony Gordon misses the header by maybe about that much, which is another one where I go, if they've got a striker there, if you've got a number 9, but if Benjamin Šeško was there, he'd probably reach that because the difference of height. They are so missing a striker from this team. And we're, 13 minutes in? Clear as day to see they need a striker. And not necessarily a running behind striker. They need that kind of tall target man striker. Absolutely. And Barnes tried a ball in behind, goes all the way back to Bizot. Certainly a lot coming down the left-hand side here. That's got to be a shove in the back by Dan Burn. JK says, why isn't KG watching on his own channel? Shouldn't he be watching together? Pull both for your viewers. Oh, JK, it's major beef. That's why. Of course not. It's just because everyone's got their own things going on as well. It's not competition or anything like that. People have got their own channels, their own things. It's always all love, all family, you know. Here's McGinn. Tries the cross in, deflected. Whew. Fabian Schär just does enough. It's actually really good defending in the end. And Tonali hooks it away. I'll tell you what, Newcastle, they put that ball in play quick for the throw. Joelinton. And it's got to be a free kick. Elanga was blocked off. Redwan says, did you hear about Rolfo's transfer to Man United women? She's a fan favorite on FIFA Ultimate Team. I hope she's good. I did see that yesterday. Yeah, I saw a lot of people. I saw a lot of people talking about that on social media yesterday. And I really do hope that, there was so much talk last season, obviously, about the Man United men's team using the women's facilities, and the women's facilities kind of got pushed out because Carrington was being obviously renovated. And I really hope they do get some focus this year. I really do hope they get some focus and some investment. You don't want to be seeing what other teams are having to do for PSR purposes, selling your women's team. Hopefully Manchester United will be investing in it. Here's a free kick to Newcastle. Ball whipped in towards the back post. Joelinton headed back across goal. It was Gibberice, actually, excuse me. Anthony Gordon takes the shot. And Bizzot again makes the save. Probably a comfortable one. Comes through a crowd of players, though. Just tips it wide of the post. And Newcastle, for 15 minutes here, they've been the better team. It's not even much to say, is it? Comfortable save, but it does go through. It might even take a little bit of a deflection. But a good save. I tell you what, Bizzot, the opening 15 minutes, has made some important saves. The 34-year-old. And Tonali's going to take this corner. Tonali, ball in. Oh, it's a difficult one. And Bizzot actually does quite well in the end. And the ref's given a free kick as well. Good performance so far for the first 60 minutes by the 34-year-old. If anything, it just reinforces my point that I've been making on United View about Manchester United's pursuit of a goalkeeper. You can go and find a goalkeeper in their 30s, not a lot of money. They're out there. 3 million quid. This costs Aston Villa. Now, it's still very early stages. He might throw one in the back of the net or drop a clagger. So we'll see, won't we? Dan Burn goes back to Pope. Going to get it out of his feet. Didn't put too much pressure on in the end, and Newcastle will play out. Konza wins that header. Konza heads it down for Kamara. Of course, we once linked to Manchester United in that transfer window of January 2022, I think it was, the Ralph window. Kamara once again. Skiliano says Bizzot is cost 3.5 million and already looks vastly superior to Onana. I'm beginning to think Villa can get a decent goalkeeper for so cheap. There's no reason we can't place for. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, they are out there. They always, goalkeeper's not a super pricey position. I mean, it looks really likely now that Donnarumma's going to Manchester City, doesn't it? Fabrizio Romano reporting this morning that Galatasaray have made an opening bid for Edison, and the suggestion always was if Edison goes, then Donnarumma comes in. Now, totally different kind of goalkeepers. I mean, you've got Edison, who is effectively an outfield player in goal, whereas Donnarumma is obviously a top shot stopper with his feet, not amazing. Is Pep going to try and really revolutionize his playing style? Is he going to go with, I don't want my goalies to play out from the back anymore, which would be such a different move from Pep, who was the pioneer of having your goalkeepers playing out. Of course, famously to Joe Hart said, you got to go because you can't do it with your feet, and brought in Bravo. But for me, in general, Joe Hart was on the way down in terms of shot stopping as well. I was never a big fan of him in the England team. And Newcastle are pressing Villa here. He putting Villa under pressure. Tonali gives it to Anthony Elanga, who's right on the verge of being offside. Put the ball in the box. He's claiming a handball. Referee doesn't want any of it. Gibberice. Joelinton. Going to look for Kieran Trippier. Go back to Livramento. Is Harvey Barnes. Barnes. Turn cash in and out. Livramento. He slipped. Yeah, another player slipping on this surface. We're 6, likes away from 50 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, folks. Rodgers tries that ball forward. They're definitely trying that, aren't they, Villa? That like quick ball in behind. And when you've got someone like Ollie Watkins, you've got someone that can run onto it. They're trying to utilizing the pace of Watkins, aren't they? Here's Barnes. Of course, has looked dangerous down Newcastle's left-hand side. Tonali. Good player, isn't he, Sandro Tonali? Very comfortable on the ball. And he'll be one that I know, obviously, he has a feeling of he owes a lot to Newcastle. Obviously, they backed him and supported him throughout his betting ban and gambling ban. But if Newcastle don't kind of consistently make that Champions League setting and foothold, he could be another one that could be still looking for steps up in the Premier League. And he could get into most teams, I think, in the Prem, Tonali. Comfortable with either foot. Yeah, I mean, if you put Tonali in the Man United team, bloody, he'd get straight in, wouldn't he? Tonali would get straight into the Manchester United team. We're so lacking a technical midfielder. Get in there any day. So you wonder what will happen there. But again, he owes a lot. I'm sure he feels like to Newcastle, given what they backed him through. 25 years old, turned 25 this year, in his prime. But in fairness, though, Newcastle can make an argument that's the strongest part of their team, isn't it? That midfield three, Tonali, Guimaraes, Joelinton. You've kind of got it all in there, haven't you? You've got power, strength, technical ability in the form of Tonali and Guimaraes. Got runners in the form of Joelinton. Ball across goal. Bizot collects that one very well. So that's a real solid midfield. Onana takes the ball out of defense, but they're giving it away. Villa can't keep hold of the ball here. Tonali, Trippier on the overlap. They're just under so much pressure. It's got to be offside anyway. When the throw, the ball didn't even go free. Ridwan says, why on earth is Emi Martinez valued over £35 million? It's poor from Villa. No one is paying that. You're absolutely right. I mean, £35 million for a goalkeeper in his 30s, you're just not going to get it, are you? Donnarumma's worth 26 million quid, apparently, from PSG 2025. Goalkeepers aren't that expensive unless you're buying a keeper who's 20 and he's going to be in goal for you for sort of 15 years or a decade. Then all right, I get it. But yeah, goalkeepers, they're just not that expensive, which is ironic because it's such a specialty position. And particularly with the demands now on a keeper, you've got to be good with your feet and this, that, and the other. Boubacar Kamara wins that back. But again, the pass is poor. Villa's passing has been so bad. So sloppy. So many times they've won it back, but they just give it away straight away. But yeah, so you go back to the keeper. If you want to find like just a good shot-stopping goalkeeper, you can find that for like 5-10 million. It's the sort of added stuff on top of it. You know, if you're looking for someone that's good with their feet and this, that, and the other, then that's going to cost you. There aren't many of them. But just good shot stoppers, just good okay keepers, they're out there. Literally a safe pair of hands. King of the Indies, it's sloppy. Is Konza. A rare bit of Villa possession high up the pitch. Oh, my goodness me. The ball was swept out to Luca Digne and touched the shock and just go straight out for a throw. Not been at it at all. Azuna looks a bit frustrated. Haven't watched any of the last 5 league games that Alexander Isak has missed. And you can tap. I mean, obviously he's going to be a miss. It's hardly revolutionary to say that, is it? But you feel like if Alexander Isak was playing this game at the moment, Newcastle would they'd be at least at minimum 1-0 up. Minimum. Probably more. Probably 2-0 up. I think the Gordon chance, he scores. Maybe it doesn't go to Alanga. Maybe, it goes to him for the Alanga chance. They'd be at least 1-0 up. Which makes you feel like one way or the other, they've just got to sort that issue out. Long throw by Villa, headed away by Dan Burn. Cross in towards the back post by Tielemans towards Watkins, but Tonali's there. And then there's an offside. And Villa Park's pretty quiet right now. The largest amount of noise you're hearing is when Villa keep giving the ball away. The crowd's getting frustrated. And you don't really blame them, do you? I tell you what, there's just feels something right about drinking, a hot beverage during a lunchtime game, doesn't there? Whether it's like some soup or, like I said, Bovril. I don't like Bovril, but that kind of, because if you ever go to a match, particularly in the winter months, and it's freezing, ball plays through Anthony Gordon. There's pace up against Mings. Gordon takes a shot. It was blocked by Matty Cash. So everyone writes about having, hot meal / drink, like soup or something like that, on the terraces, watching their game. Takes me back. Another near slip from a Newcastle play there. Joelinton. Kieran Trippier. Ball in towards the back post. Livramento. Share. Takes a shot. Miles over the bar. You just get the impression Newcastle keep kind of playing to these wide players in Barnes and Alanga and whipping balls into the box, but there's no height that they're aiming towards. I mean, it's going to have to be a pretty picture-perfect cross for Anthony Gordon, isn't it? He's not the most amazing player in the air. You got to hope maybe that, like, Joelinton's made the run into the box. Tonali's not exactly a tall player. Guimaraes, not known for being, amazing in the air. So you go, well, you're getting those balls whipped in, but who are you hitting? Unless you're driving your crosses fairly low, who are you whipping it into? That's why they need Isak, or that's why they were going after, of course, Benjamin Šeško. They need that focal point to play off, or at least aim towards, and they don't have it. Get a bit of luck there. Ball played over the top for Anthony Alanga. And he's just messed that up completely. Ball bounced off his foot and goes out for a throw-in. So Leon Bailey's going to go to AS Roma, according to Fabrizio. What does that mean about the stuff with Jadon Sancho? I wonder. I wonder indeed. See that there. Newcastle, 8 attempts, 2 on target. Like I said, they've been the better team. They just don't have that focal point of, pressure. Daniel Luciano says, just think it's so ingrained in their system. Yeah, that's what it feels like, isn't it? Here's Livramento. Joelinton. Onana. Tried to play out defense, and in the end, he gets a foul. As Jamie says there, Villa 0 attempts, 0 on target. Yeah, like I said, it's not been the... They've not really offered anything, have they? It's almost like they've been trying to play on the counter-attack too much. So much so that whenever they get the ball, they're so eager just to try and get it forward that they can't, basically. So, yeah. Ball placed forward over the top. Watkins to run onto. And I suppose maybe that will be just right there. That will be the example that someone like Unai Emery would say is that, if we only need one ball over the top and that can pay off for us, we can be 1-0 up. That's just how we play. Look at Joelinton. Did really well there. Barnes plays it back. Joelinton. He's going to try and win it's going to be a corner. Goal kick. And Matty Cash trying to get the crowd there at Villa Park going. Again, wants a bit from the whole end there. Again, it's quiet. But in fairness, the one positive quote I always remember from Erik ten Hag's tenure at Manchester United, and he was so right about it, is that, there's always this kind of expectation sometimes on fans, which is a little bit like, they have to make noise, And I get it. You got to back the team, and sometimes, with sort of tourism, how it is, sometimes you don't get like loud fans there. But Erik ten Hag used to say, we hope they're there to support us, and we know they will be, but we've got to give them something. You've got to energize your fans. And it is true. It's a dynamic relationship. Rodgers has set Watkins away. Watkins up against Stan Burn. Oh, rode the tackle. Oh, pulled it back. There's just no one there. But that's what they're trying to do, Villa, isn't it? It's constantly Morgan Rodgers picking up the ball central areas. Can you play the ball to Watkins, who will be on the shoulder of the defender, and see if he can beat them, play in behind, and get a shot away? Still no attempts yet, though, by Aston Villa. Only takes one to score a goal, though, I suppose. As Villa now have possession. Under 15 minutes to go until halftime. Still 0-0 in the second game of this Premier League weekend. Of course, follows that 4-2 victory for Liverpool at Anfield against Bournemouth last night. Kamara gives it to Onana. You can see those Villa players looking for that ball in behind, ball over the top. Mings has gone back to Bizot in goal. Good pass that by the goalkeeper. I tell you what, as they've given the ball away there, Villa, Bizot, he's been Villa's best player. Him and obviously Morgan Rodgers, he's trying to make things happen when he does get some opportunities on the ball. But Bizot's been their best player. He's looked really neat and tidy. We had a couple of good saves, a couple of punches from crosses into the box as well. Played a good pass there and behind. 34 years old, from the Netherlands, making his debut after signing from Brest for 3.5 million. I tell you what, already looks like a really shrewd bit of business, isn't it? As Bizot goes along with the goal kick. We are over 50 likes. Appreciate everyone for clicking the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well to the Football Flex. Next stop is 22K. Yeah, Bizot, they're just talking about him on commentary, saying that he's done really well. Look really reassured. Safe pair of hands. Morgan Rodgers, dispossessed by Tonali. Tonali gives it to Anthony Elanga. Couple of step overs, shifts it onto the left foot. Cleared by Tyrone Mings. Watkins, good hold up play. Now he's got space to turn. Kind of played it a bit behind Morgan Rodgers, but Rodgers has it. And he'll look again for Watkins to run onto. Overhit. There's a really bad pass by Morgan Rodgers. Good throw by Nick Pope. Immediately puts Newcastle on the front foot. Ridwan, you put Ollie Watkins as your FPL captain. Ooh. That's nasty work, Ridwan. I'm going to be honest with you. That's nasty work. Still time. Sloppy. Another sloppy pass by Villa. Villa, their passing is Manchester United-esque. I mean, it really is, isn't it? Villa's passing's been shocking. Elanga to skip past the player, and he's got a free kick. Luca Dean. This is going to be a yellow card. We're nearly 10 minutes away from half-time. Let's have a look at the stats here. Oh, it's horrid looking, I must say, for for Aston Villa. I'll get you up on the screen here. Take a look. Look at those stats. 0 shots, 0 on target, 39% possession, only 100 passes. Villa have only made 100 passes in the game. We have a pass accuracy of 69%. Talk about stinking up the joint. Wow. Nasty, nasty. Trippier, free kick ball in. That goes all the way out for a goal kick, just a little bit too high. But yeah, never look. Can I make that wider? There you go. With the what you call it in the thingy. Look at me learning as I go. Yeah. I mean, the win probability still the same, I suppose, because still early days and the game plan from Villa is to score on the counter. But oof, ugly, ugly stuff, isn't it? That. As Bizot goes long. Tonali. Oh, as a hospital pass by Tonali to Trippier. And Trippier does well to make sure they don't have a corner. But Tonali, yeah, he properly hospital pass there, indeed. Throw in, though, for Aston Villa. A rare bit of just something up the pitch. Long throw. Yeah. Nick Pope claims it really well. Nice and easy. Good, confident goalkeeping. Pope rolls it out. Certainly is competition for goalkeeping spots this season. Alanga. Away from Luca Dean. And Rodgers in the end just intercepted. Referee will give a foul on that one. Foul to Aston Villa. 6 likes away from 60 likes, folks. Over 80 people watching, which is fantastic for a lunchtime kickoff. I know we've got a global audience on the Football Flex. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. Click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Remember, you can get your super chats in, your members chats as well. You can join the Flex Football Club. There's going to be some members content coming there in the future. Probably some vlogs, behind the scenes stuff on its way. Most assists in the Premier League last season, Jacob Murphy and Anthony Alanga. Of course, both now play for Newcastle. Onana to Kamara. Pass out wide. Luca Dean to Morgan Rodgers. Fabian Schär does very, very well. Game's just lost a bit of its pace, isn't it? Just lost a bit of its pace and intensity. Oh, Onana nearly dispossessed there. Ollie Watkins, he's running behind. No flag. Flag now comes up. Of course, we found out last night, didn't we, together, that their semi-automated offside is in effect. We couldn't remember. I was so checked out of football last season that I wasn't even paying attention to games that it was used because I was like, oh, screw it. Everyone says it's scrappy, sloppy. 3 likes away from 60 likes as well, folks. Be sure to subscribe too. Good throw that by Nick Pope out. to Dan Burn. And we're about 5 minutes away from half-time. 40 minutes gone in the first half. Newcastle started really well, and they've been by far the better team. But just lacking that kind of goal-scoring ability. Villa have been miles off it. That's a good sliding tackle by Dan Burn. Puts it out for a throw-in. Dispossessing Yuri Tielemans. I mean, it was right in front of the Newcastle fans. They enjoyed that one. See this slide tackle. Is Kamara. Tyrone Mings. That's a better pass out to Matty Cash. In swinging ball. But again, coachable for Nick Pope. Well, pretty big one today. Pretty big story. Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Eberechi Eze has informed Crystal Palace of his desire to join Tottenham, which would be a brilliant signing. That would be a top signing for Spurs. So you know that Arsenal were interested in him, and it's one of those ones I've seen Arsenal fans talking about this, where they're sort of going, "Why didn't you spend that Madueke money on getting Eberechi Eze?" Like, Eberechi Eze would be much more important to our team than Noni Madueke will be this season. Get Eze in that team. You know, it's a big signing. Madueke, not so much. That's one of those signings that I think people can understand. A bit like when we signed Mason Mount, that people were just like, I don't get that. Mings. Konza. Again, finally a bit of possession, I suppose, for Aston Villa. Can actually pass the ball a little bit proficiently now with less pressure on them. All right, ball in behind. Rodgers just tries to keep it alive, but Nick Pope, yeah, he'll claim. Claim that one with ease. As Villa Park, yeah, very quiet. And it must be said, the pace of this one has absolutely died. First 5-10 minutes, frenetic, quick. Both teams playing on transition now. It's got that's a brilliant pass by Schär to Harvey Barnes. Livramento. I mean, I tell you what, that pass from Fabian Schär and the take from Harvey Barnes was something else. It's a great pass, great take. And that's much better from Newcastle, certainly. Look at this. Brilliant crossfield pass. And look at the touch. And to be able to switch to play that easily and that proficiently is invaluable. Tonali with the corner for Newcastle. Corner ball. Doesn't beat the first man. Still in the box, though. Headed away in the end by Tielemans. Ollie Watkins trying to pressure, but no one else there. There's a crossing, clipped in by Schär, headed away by Matty Cash. And hey, what's a really good header because it set away John McGinn as well. McGinn can travel into it. Got to watch the man. And I tell you what, Joelinton did really, really well. Joelinton and Gordon tracking back. Kamara had the opportunity there to counter Aston Villa, but Newcastle travel back very well. Oh, pressure on him there. It's been dispossessed. Oh, I don't know. Ooh. I'm not sure if that was a foul. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is a foul. It is a foul. Referee.
Done okay.
Yeah, good. Referee did all right there. Now, Villa a bit sloppy in possession there, but just get away with it. And that will be another foul. That's a yellow card to Joelinton. With a foul on Onana in midfield. Let's have a look at this one. Yes, clear foul. Clear foul. Eddie didn't. You said he got the ball. He didn't. He didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. No, he didn't. He didn't. Unfortunately. Unai looks very confused. He's probably still wondering about
Europe.
And there you go. That's half time in this one. No stoppage time. And we're going at half time 0-0. Must be said, Newcastle, better team for the majority. Better team for the majority of that first half, to be said. They probably should be going in, what would you say, at least a goal to the good. At least 1-0 up at half time. But they're missing that striker. They really are. What Newcastle need to do, no doubt about it, they need to resolve this Alexander Isak situation one way or the other. They need to either sell him to Liverpool or they need to find a way that he's reintegrated into the team, because if they have a striker, literally not even necessarily like an amazing one, but if they have a proper striker on the pitch, then they're at least 1-0, maybe 2-0 up in that first half. The Gordon header in between the two centre-backs, a half-decent centre-forward scores that. Not to say that Anthony Gordon isn't a half-decent player. He's a very good player, but he's not a centre-forward. He's not like, your sort of target man. Isak scores it. So they would have been 1 or 2-0 up. They're just missing that striker. They're just missing that focal point to play off. Villa, really disappointing in that half. To say that their passing was sloppy is a gross understatement. I mean, we can get the stats up on the screen, and to be honest with you, it doesn't make pretty reading for Aston Villa at all. Let's have a look at this here. You can see just one shot, not even one shot, folks. Not even one shot. Look, 0 shots, 0 on target for Aston Villa in comparison to Newcastle's 8 shots, 2 on target. You got to look at possession as well. Newcastle leading it in terms of possession. And actually that 42%, that's gone up. that 42%'s gone up because it was like 35 at one point. Villa, just over 150 passes. Their pass accuracy at 72%. They're leading in fouls. They've done 7 fouls. I mean, Newcastle have got that yellow card courtesy of Joelinton. But they have not been at it at all. Not been at it whatsoever. A really, really poor first half from Aston Villa. And maybe they could actually consider themselves to be, not to be rather, 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and still be in the game, because they have been, just absolutely shocking. In that first half. My goodness me, they've been bad. So we shall see if they can turn it around in the second half. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can get some more stats for you here. Just got to remember how to log into this thing and what the password was. If you haven't already, click the like button as well. Be sure to subscribe. This is what I'm looking for. It's because it's this. I was using the wrong thing. Copy. Oh. Go away. I tell you what, I logging into things sometimes is just the biggest pain in the ass. I was filling out an online form yesterday, and it was just not agreeing with me. I was properly fighting it. It was massively pissing me off. Right, I can go back to it. And where are the Premier League games? I want the Premier League. There you go. What you call it, and the thingy. Let's have a look. So we can have some stats. We can have some stats I can bring you. Since making his Premier League debut in August of 2019, only James Tarkowski, 50, has been shown more yellow cards than Joelinton. Yes, that's, that's, to be honest, that's pretty incredible, actually, isn't it? That is pretty incredible. We can look at a heat map for Fabian Schär. Not really sure what that really shows all that much. Yeah. Events. What's this? Game slice. In general, 40%. You get some nice, interesting stats here. Get that up on the screen, actually. There you go, with what you call it. It's up there. You can see the possession in the game. Game slice player. Whatever. What that does. See the heat map for Fabian Schär as well. Again, what you get from that. I don't know. Stats and that. Look at me. That's what it is. Oh yes, we bring you stats here on the Football Flex. That's what we do. Sometimes you must go like, what can you get from that though? What can you what can you get from those things? Graphics. You know, I was thinking to see that. That's good. To be fair. Average positions. So get that up on the screen. There goes the average positions in this one. If that's your thing as well. Let's make that a bit bigger so you can actually see everything. There you go. Average positions. Attacking thirds. Oh, yeah. Well, Villa, most of it's coming down the middle, as you can see right there. Most of it's coming down, which is true. You see Morgan Rogers just constantly putting ball forwards to Ollie Watkins to try and run onto. Newcastle, meanwhile, coming a lot down. Is that their left-hand side? Technically, I think. It feels like it's come more down their left-hand side. About action areas, we've seen most of the action in the middle, which would make a lot of sense. But if you go in terms of attacking play, there's been more in the end of Aston Villa as well. Hey, that's what we're very advanced here. We're very advanced here on the Football Flex. Absolutely, you know, very, very advanced. Oh, that's good. Does that work? Oh no. I thought. Oh yeah, it does. Look at this. For instance, you can do. This is good. So if Aston Villa get a penalty, I can go, right, well, actually, during the game, what we can do is we can get up Ollie Watkins' last few penalties. Right there you go. It's Ollie Watkins. That's his recent penalty history right there. That is pretty good. I'll use that on United View. It's not bad going. I would probably want to make it smaller. I probably need like a little stats box. I can probably do that. I just want it to be the other way around. So you could do like, oh yeah, look, it's Ollie Watkins' last few penalties for Aston Villa, scored 3, missed 2. Can I switch this around? No, I can't. It's annoying. Still though, hey, something to play around with. Oh, there you go. I will play around with that one. That is a good one. Use it a lot during the game. Or can I pick certain players? Well, that is good as well, yeah. So during the game, we can go like, oh, look, you know, John McGinn, he's really actually been in sort of a deeper role in the game. You can see sort of deep one. The only thing I would complain about is I want to be bigger. If I zoom in, it makes no difference. I mean, at this point, you are literally just seeing me play around with things for future matches. Chalkboard. What does that do? Oh, shots. Oh, Villa haven't had any. Villa haven't had any shots, so I can't even do that. Shots on target. So that was the 2 shots on target. Shots in blocks. Can take that off. Shots off target. I can add that in. Oh yeah, not bad. No, not bad. Not bad. Passing graphic, pass matrix. What does that do? Choose passer. Bizot to Konza. That's kind of bullshit, isn't it? I'm not going to use that during the game. expected goals. Oh yeah, I can get that up on the screen if you want your expected goals as well. We've got total team XG, of course. Look, Aston Villa, XG of 0. Why? They've had no shots and 0 on target. Meanwhile, Newcastle, they do actually have an XG of 1.16 in that first half because they have had the 8 shots with 2 on target. So they should have got a goal by now, but they haven't. Which again is not probably that shocking at all, is it? But yes. Well, I will use this on United View, certainly. I will use that more. I'll get better with it as well. And for positions, action areas, human events, advanced graphics, penalty history. Yeah, okay, I can use that. Could use that. I think that works well. King the Indy says, show me Villa shooting map. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Mexico says, Owen, what's your prediction for tomorrow's game? I think I went with 2-1, which is always my pick. I just don't see us not conceding. I don't see us not conceding in that game, mainly because if Bayindir or Onana, I would love for Tom Heaton to start, but I don't think he will. But I do think there's goals in that team for United, which is something we haven't said about Man United for quite some time. Now, I know the argument could be made that, wow, in the last game against Fiorentina, they still struggled to score goals. So where does that come from? But that game, a bit like Newcastle today, was crying out for a striker. If we had a target man in the box, not only to play off, but actually, whip balls in, then I think we would have won quite comfortably actually against Fiorentina. And we've got that. We've got that in Benjamin Šeško. We've got that player that we can play off and we can play the ball towards. So I think we're going to be quite pleasantly surprised by actually how dangerous United look. And that doesn't necessarily mean we'll win the game. It might end up being a draw, or who knows? Arsenal might still play really well and they might beat us. But I hope and I do think that we are going to leave the game tomorrow going, you know what? I think we'll be all right this season. And it's not going to be like last season. That's my hope. Now, we might draw or lose because, again, midfield, we just don't have that good of a midfield. Or the goalkeeper F's it up. I can't rule that one out. But I do think there are goals in that team. And almost a bit like Liverpool last night. If you've got goals in your team, that can make up and mask a lot of issues, which we still do have. So that can mask. Liverpool last night defensively were really, really poor, I thought. Both of their new fullbacks got hooked because they struggled, particularly Kirkez. Konate and Van Dijk were really, really poor at centre-back, particularly Konate, but also Van Dijk. But if you've got people that can score goals in your team, like Salah, like Gakpo, like Ekitike, you're always going to have that opportunity to win, which is what they did, and that's also why they're champions. So I think from United's perspective, as long as you've got goals in that team, that can be enough to get you on the line, over the line. We didn't have that last season. That's why we finished so low. So many games, we literally lost by a goal because we just couldn't score. Can't score goals. So I do think that I'm thinking we'll be pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to go with 2-1, but I suppose you never know. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe to United View as we wait for the second half to start. As Fabsy says there, big up home, big up the chat. And don't forget to smash the like button, people. Indeed. And subscribe to the Football Flex. Hopefully the second... Well, I say hopefully. First 5-10 minutes in this one were really good, weren't they? And it's just kind of fallen off since then, hasn't it? Which is quite disappointing. Did I say United View? That will happen a lot this season. That will happen a lot this season. I'm so used to, obviously, for how many years have I been doing this? 4 years. I've been saying that for United View. So I will slip up, certainly. You will have to forgive me. I know Flex has done it here. I remember I was either editing something or I was putting something together, for this channel, and Flex said, you know, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View, and then started talking about whatever he was talking about, and I thought that's going to happen. That's going to happen quite a bit, isn't it? On this channel, yeah, it's going to be definitely a thing. Right, players are coming back out for the second half. Make sure I've got my formation. There you go. As Crazy Train plays once again. No changes made by either Eddie Howe or Unai Emery. So that's the team once again that you can see right there. It's Bizot, Lucadinha, Tyrone Mings, Konza, Matty Cash, Kamara, and Onana. You've got Rogers, Tielemans, and McGinn. Watkins as the striker for Newcastle. You've got Pope, second half's underway, by the way. Pope, Trippier, Cher, Byrne, Livramento, Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton, who's on a booking, Anthony Elanga, Harvey Barnes, and Anthony Gordon through the middle. That was well played by Kamara. Aston Villa on the move. Matty Cash. And defended by Byrne. And that's a early corner. Villa be hoping for something. Corner for Aston Villa. Lucadinha walks over to applause from the whole tent. Going to put this one into the box. So you've got only got height in the box. Mings, Konsa in there at the moment. Good cut back by John McGinn. Ball in. Header. Oh, first shot on target. Well, there's your first shot on target for Aston Villa. Look at that. Kamara with the header. Fortunately, straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. And we get, oh, he's not happy about that one. Oh, and I can press it again. Yeah. Tried that reverse pass there, just didn't work. Look at Unai Emery. And a bit of a frustrated figure. King in the end, he says, Unai praying to the god of XGs. Certainly, isn't he? We know we can check that now, can't we? Now that they've had their shot on target, their XG is currently 0.04. Updated in real time, folks. Oh, yeah, we got that for you in the Football Flex. Guimaraes. As Fabian Schär passes it back to Nick Pope. King says nasty. Well, look, we've got the updates. That's what we got. That's what we got them for. Got the updates for you. Kieran Trippier tried that pass forwards. It's just going to be seen out by Tyrone Mings. Jamie Season says, what's your thoughts on the new Sky Sports theme song? Do you know what? I haven't watched it all the way through, so I probably couldn't tell you. Is Emi Martinez there in the crowd? Is that a blanket or is that a coat? I'm not sure. Or is he like is he a Jedi Master? My goodness me. It looks like Emi Martinez sitting there like he's on the Jedi Council. My goodness. And that'll be an Aston Villa throw-in. Oh, I tell you what. He's down. He's taken a knock there, Dan Burn. I don't know if he's just a bit winded or what. Let's just have a look there. Yeah, just side to side. I mean, to be honest, he's winded himself. It wasn't really anything that Ollie Watkins had done. He did it to himself. The irony. Lucadinha with the throw. Flick on by Watkins. Ball just bouncing around in the box there. And Cash, nice and confident in possession. Easy for him. That's a switch towards Tyrone Mings, but overhit. And that'll go out for a Newcastle throw. 50 minutes gone, 0-0 at Villa Park. Still certainly... oh, ball nearly went through. I was just looking at... The reason I got distracted there is because of my thing here. I'm just looking at like some of the stats. I didn't know that, and they've got their full names down. So Unai Emery's full name is Unai Emery. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Extogian, and Eddie Howe is Edward John Frank Howe. The more you know. Livramento boxed in. Newcastle still dominating the stats at 1.16 XG. It's going to be a throw here, though. Goes back to Bizot, who kicks the ball on. Hooked away by Dan Burn. Onana puts the ball out wide to Lucadine. And that will be a corner. Certainly in this second half, you feel like that they've definitely upped the levels of intensity, Aston Villa, and they've needed to. And just so far in this second half alone, obviously they've had more shots than Newcastle, more possession, 70% to 29% already in this half. They've certainly got a bit more momentum. Ball in. Oh, I tell you what, it was a good ball in the end by Tielemans, and there's nobody there. Yeah, he's screaming at the team to attack it. Puts it into a great area. There's just nobody there. It was a chance, though, wasn't it? Well, a good chance for Aston Villa. I mean, one of their better ones of the whole game so far. If you haven't already, folks, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. Next week, we've got some really big games. It's going to be a foul. Referee, not interested. We've got Chelsea West Ham on the Friday. On the Saturday, of course, we'll be live for Spurs versus Manchester City. And then we'll also be live for the Monday Night Football, which will be Liverpool versus Newcastle. I know that Flex is going to be with me for the City Spurs game and for Liverpool Newcastle on the Monday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. John McGinn cuts inside. Ty gets a foot in. And he has a foul. And I tell you what, the referee, Morgan Rogers, is absolutely furious. Absolutely furious. It's pronounced Etchigoin. There you go. You can see why maybe this goes by Unai Emery. A bit easier, isn't it? My Spanish is not very good. Well, it's non-existent, to be honest with you. That's one. I did not do that at school. I did do French and German. My German's better than my French, and I haven't done that for a long time, many years. It's probably mostly gone. And I've said before, it's one of my big regrets is not learning another language when I was much younger, because as you know, younger, easier. Because whenever I say this, people go, "You still can, Owen," which I still could, but set in your ways. I'm not very good at picking up things like that. Here's Trippier. And that's a throw into Villa. Yeah, definitely up their levels in this second half. Still lacking a bit of pace, though, you feel like. It's a throw. Daniel Luciano says, why family speaks it? Got to keep up. That's fair. Ollie Watkins, ball across goal. Nobody there, though. Headed away by Livramento. A good touch that by Rogers. Tielemans, I didn't realise there was a Newcastle player just closing in. Newcastle win the ball back. Dan Burn gives it back to Joelinton. A bit of a deflection. Goes to Bruno Guimaraes. Trippier. Anthony Elanga. Haven't seen much of him after that really good opportunity in the first half. Elanga, he tries to go past the play, and he's not going to get a foul for that because you can tell he's looking for it. And Aston Villa get the free kick because the Villa player was blocked off by Kieran Trippier. Big up Fabsy in the chat. Says, Owen, I really like it that you do more watch-alongs here now, also for the other Premier League games, because I barely watch them, but I always like listening to you. So it's a win-win for me to be updated on the game. I appreciate that, Fabsy. It's like I said, we're going to be live for a lot of watch-alongs this season. Owen, if you start learning Spanish now, by the time Man United play in the Champions League again, you'll be pretty decent. I don't know if I could learn it by next season. It's a yellow card for Kamara. Yeah, it's a foul on Anthony Elanga. Big up Hassan. Hope you're doing well too, my friend. All good here. Appreciate you joining us here on the Football Flex. Have you figured out how to take call-ins during matches while watching WWE? And I was the same way as doing it with anything else through StreamYard, really. It's just a case of it's difficult to be synced up on wrestling. That's the challenging thing. It's not like with football watch-alongs where you've got the time to sync up. Wrestling, you're either really synced or you're not. And when it comes to people making entrances and stuff like that, you don't want to... Well, I'll tell you what, the Newcastle players have just run into each other. It was going over to Fabian Schär, and Dan Burns just ran into him. And it's a chance. And again, it must be rehearsed. So it's a really good set-piece routine. And look, Scher's got his eyes on the ball. Dan Burn, I don't really know what Dan Burn's doing. Scher's got to be saying to him, hey, Fabian's ball. What a mess up. It was a really good and well-worked free kick routine there by Newcastle. Gaming with S says game's been a bit stale. Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Matty Cash tried to get the ball in. Dan Burn, he's claiming for a goal kick. And he gave a goal kick in the end. I mean, he took a lifetime. The assistant, he took an absolute lifetime to give that decision. So what's he making it up on, really? It is the goal kick. He gets it right in the end. Bonehut says, I'm watching the match and the watch along while in VR. Look at you. Very fancy. Jamie says, as a Sunderland fan, I'm just hoping for a Watkins goal. You're a Sunderland fan, Jamie. I didn't know that. Well, you know, I picked Sunderland on the final man standing. Or final one standing, whatever it's called. I picked Sunderland to win this weekend, which is deemed as a risky pick. A very risky pick. But I feel they'll beat West Ham. Jamie says, you're watching the Sunderland game at 3. Well, not here on Football Flex. I've got to prepare for tomorrow. It's going to be it's going to be a big one tomorrow. Of course, got United View, Match View live, Manchester United versus Arsenal. I'll be live 2 hours before kickoff as per usual. Of course, we'll also have the new feature of members can call in before, during, after, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be one giant long stream. So no jumping to the full-time view afterwards. That will take place in the same Match View stream, which I'm really excited for. Luca Dean. Onana puts it out to Konza. Matty Cash. And yeah, call in. The only thing that's going to be difficult with the members thing is hopefully the lines don't get kind of clogged up. I feel like there'll be a lot of people calling in. But if that is the case, we'll just, because there's no guarantee we get to everyone at all. We're not going to be able to get to everyone, obviously. And some games will go to calls more often than we go for others, because it will depend on what's going on, the match type, people that are on the show. It's going to be, different things. But I think it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm really excited for that. Just one of the many innovations we've got at United View. But this isn't that. This is the Football Flex. As it's still 0-0. Over 63 minutes played between Aston Villa and Newcastle. A game that did have a lot of promise, actually, in the first 10, 15 minutes. Has gone very, very flat. Desperately needs a goal, doesn't it? McGinn. I tell you what, Watkins manages to keep that alive. And in the end, Newcastle managed to get it away. Trippier, and that's it, the back. It was Harvey Barnes, actually. And, still not really much doesn't. I mean, I hope the second half was going to be better than the first half. Second half's actually worse, really, isn't it? Only one shot in the entirety of this second half. Was that shot that was the only shot on target for Aston Villa. Villa had more possession in this half. Watkins takes a shot. That's another shot. That's two. 2 shots, 2 on target. But straight at Nick Pope once again. I mean, you see here the sort of difference. You know, in the first half, all Newcastle. Second half, bit better from Villa, but not that much to write home about still. Cash went for the cutback. Oh, Gordon, is he in behind? That might be a red. That might be a red. I think it's got to be. And it is. We've got a straight red card for Ezri Konsa. And that is a game changer. An absolute game changer, folks. Ezri Konsa. I don't know why. Why does he do it? Is there really any need to? That's the question, isn't it? Does he need to do that? Forgot I hadn't actually added one. Where is this? I can add this into this here. Let's put that red card up here. There you go. Actually, I want to put that in behind everything. Let's move it down a little bit. Move it up a little bit more. This is what happens when you're live. There you go. So Aston Villa down to 10 men. I mean, I still look at it and go, it really, I didn't need to, unless they're, again, unless the thought process is, you know, well, there's only a goal in this game, so we can't afford them to score. That early, still relatively early in the game, 66 minutes. Back your goalkeeper, because, man, who's to say that Anthony Gordon would score? Bonehurt says that was silly. Well, now Newcastle go from, again, not being amazing, but they're looking at this now going, wow, opportunity. Alanga and Trippier standing over it. Oh, they've gone short. Well, it was another routine set piece, and Fabian Schär just smashes it over the bar. Just having another look at it. It's the counter-attack for Newcastle. It's a poor ball back in by Villa in the first place. Alanga puts the ball forward. It's a really good pass to Anthony Gordon, but you don't need to. I mean, the referee's got no choice. All he can do is give the red card, but he doesn't need to. It's still really far out from goal, actually. You could get back in comfortably, I feel like, or back your goalkeeper to make the save. I just feel like he's made a massive mistake there. But Newcastle now, massive chance for them. Villa haven't been all that anyway. Second half, they're a little bit better, but still not loads to write about. Yeah, very, very poor. There's Alanga again. Livramento. Joelinton, Tonali. Well, if anything, this can maybe help Villa in the sense of they'll just sit deep now and really play on the counter. Most likely. Luca Dina put under pressure, hoofs the ball forward. Ollie Watkins. So he does really well up against Fabian Schär, actually. Really, really well. Switch. The switch is on, Watkins, if you back yourself. All right. Finally, got his ball out to McGinn. I mean, the referee says play on. Mings. Ball out wide. Dinya. Oh! McGinn. Oh. McGinn, he tried to go past Livramento and does really well there. That means Villa are going to be without Ezri Konsa for first 3 games. 3 red cards in the last 4 games for Aston Villa. Alanga tried to go between the 2 Villa defenders, but Villa just did about enough there. Joelinton, Guimaraes, Gordon. Oh, it's a good tackle in the end by Onana. Barnes, ball in towards the back post. It was flicked on by Luca Dean. And Newcastle starting to build a bit of momentum. 20 likes away from 100 likes, folks. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the Football Flex. There's certainly height to aim for Newcastle. Trippier in towards Dan Burn, but Gordon. That was really poor ball into the box. Gordon once again. Is he going to take a shot from far? Oh, my goodness me. He's knocked Cash off his feet, and credit to him. He's got straight back up. The Aston Villa defender. Ball towards, good goalkeeping, good claim there by Bizot, who's been, again, solid this game. He's been very good. And Matty Cash now is going to get a bit of treatment. So credit to him that he got straight back up. Oof. Matty Cash is trying to get his wind back a little bit. It's Bizot now with the ball in his hands. Of course, it's going to be the Champions League draw on Thursday, the 28th of August at 5 p.m. I'll probably be live for that one. Why not? It's the fun thing about the Football Flex. We can do everything. Everything and everything. Anything and everything. It's Guimaraes. Towards Harvey Barnes. I tell you what, it wasn't the best pass. Harvey Barnes did try to keep it alive. Watkins given away to Guimaraes. Now, obviously, in the last 5 minutes, Alanga ball towards the back post. Well, I tell you what, it's blocked in the end by Matty Cash. And once again, I tell you what, poor Matty Cash, because he's been winded for a second time in the space of a couple of minutes. This one's even worse. Take a look at this. Oh, that hurts. Look at this. Right in the breadbasket. That's 2. 2 absolute body blows by Matty Cash. He does really well there. Cross ball in. Onana's header. Livramento, another ball in towards the back post. Nobody there. As King Indy says there, it's on the screen. Cash money defend him. But right in the solar plexus, as Jim Ross would say. Spine on the pine. Forbidden Door, by the way, next weekend on my channel. Wrestle News 365. I think it's next weekend, isn't it? Yeah, next weekend. So I'll be live for that one. It's at I think starts at 6. So, and Man United are playing next weekend against Fulham, which is on Super Sunday. So there might be a little bit of a crossover, which is fine because I pulled that off. Now I know that I can do that. I did it in pre-season, which I was actually pretty proud of. That worked out pretty well, which is cool. So I'll be live on both channels because there won't be huge amounts of crossover for it. So that'll be fine. I would, to be honest, I was thinking that the other day with all of the counter programming between AEW and WWE, that I was like, there's going to be times where I've got to do like two pay-per-views at the same time. How am I going to do it? But I managed to do it during preseason, so I could theoretically do both things at the same time, which is cool. Trying to give the audience the best product that I possibly can. As 15 minutes to go. Still 0-0. Aston Villa down to 10 men. Newcastle, Eddie Howe just talking to Jason Tindall there, and realization that we would probably consider the favourites now to go and win this game. They've probably just been the better team. Newcastle, but again, as someone was saying there, Bonehurt, what a stinky game indeed. Very. Very stinky game, to say the very least. Barnes shoots straight at Onana this time. Tonali. I tell you, Villa Park's so quiet as well. Which again, I can't blame them. They're watching one stinker of a match. Share. Alanga shifts it onto his left foot, whips it. And again, it kind of sums up the game, doesn't it? That's what we've seen so often in this game, where shifts it onto left foot, overhit. Jacob Murphy's coming on. Had a really good season with Newcastle last year, getting lots of assists and scoring goals. Wonder who he'll come on for. Involved in 23 goals, 14 assists, and 9 goals. He's had a really good season. He's going to replace Anthony Alanga. Had arguably the best chance of the game in the first half, didn't he? When he was through on goal. Through on goal, but comfortable save by Bizot. King the Indy says the quality of passing in this match is disgusting. Disgusting. And that is a Aston Villa throw. The most dramatic thing we've got in this game is the red card. And it must be said, that's about it. I mean, at least the first sort of 10, 15 minutes had chances. We didn't even have that in this second half. Had a couple of... No foul. I thought I was going to be a foul there. Trippier had a bit of a wrestle with Watkins. I tell you, nearly stole the ball there off Anthony Gordon. He's running forward. Oof. And Matty Cash again. Tell you what, Matty Cash, the last 10 minutes, he's done really well for Villa. 2 real critical blocks. Does a really good bit of defending there. Wins a free kick as well. King the Indy says the quality of passing in this match is disgusting. Yeah, it is. Not been a pretty watch. Sometimes with these lunchtime kickoffs, isn't it? Sometimes you can get a real good watch, and sometimes you can get one where it's just flat like this. Ball ricocheting around the Newcastle box, but Newcastle manages to get it out to Jacob Murphy. Murphy, look at that. Look how well he did. He did really, really well, Jacob Murphy there. There's Tonali. Moving towards. This is Harvey Barnes. Trippier. Murphy. Guimaraes. Bernhardt says, methinks Newcastle needs Isak. I think that's probably a bit of an understatement, my friends. Very much so. Share. Oh, it's a good ball, cross goal. Oh. It was a ball, crossfield pass, Livramento, one touch, across goal. Anthony Gordon nearly there. He was onside, and then that one would have been onside as well. Just not going to get there. It's too far. He can't really throw himself at it. He wouldn't have got it either there, Gordon. Jamie says, if I'm Newcastle, I tried get round. Yeah, well, they're going to get Wissa, but I don't see this game and be like, well, put Wissa in there. You're definitely going to be scoring some of the chances you've had. I think they still need that big target man-esque kind of striker that your wingers, like Alanga, like Murphy, like Barnes, can put the balls in the box, crosses in the box towards, because that's what they're missing. So like I said, whether that's Gonzalo Ramos, whether that's, I mean, who else is on the market that you could go and get as a striker? Barnes. I tell you what, Watkins trying to put pressure on Dan Burn, and Dan Burn did very well. Tried to slip that through to Gordon, but couldn't get to that. I was thinking that, Kerez. I was thinking that about, what if I take Rasmus? Good enough for AC Milan, why not? Want to stay in the Prem, not too far for Hoyland. Going from northwest to northeast, perhaps. Maybe. Because that's also the thing. You know, they were linked at one point with Ollie Watkins as we were. Watching this game, they'd have to change that. They'd have to change their style quite a bit, Newcastle, if Ollie Watkins was in this team. I mean, a couple of times they've tried to, play it in behind for Gordon to run onto. And Watkins is good in the air. He's better than certainly Gordon in the air. But I don't know if they'd be looking for that kind of striker. I mean, Ollie Watkins is perfect for Villa, isn't he? They're always trying to play balls in behind, run on to, play on the counter-attack. He's perfect for that team. I don't know if Watkins is perfect for Newcastle the more I watch them play. Unless they just went with a completely different thing. They said, right, instead of balls in the box, we're just looking to play much more on transition, 2 feet. The crosses in the box are sort of low-driven ones, as opposed to looking for playing off that sort of focal point up in the air. Maybe. Boneheart says Hoyland probably bang at Newcastle. Well, I don't think he'd have the argument about chances not being created for him. Right, Tyrone Mings takes the captain's armband because John McGinn's coming off. And I think he's going to be replaced by Daniel Marlon. 6 minutes plus stoppage time remain in this one. And Newcastle not really been able to press home this advantage at all, really, have they? To be honest, I kind of expected a bit more. I expected them to turn the screw a little bit more, but I haven't really seen that from Newcastle, have we? I mean, even the thing is now, they might try and mask it, like they'll say, well, the red card, so we had to sort of get behind the ball and stay defensively resolute. But even before the red card, Villa, they've been really, really poor today. I mean, Newcastle haven't been much better, but if there was a team that deserved to win this game, it would be Newcastle. But Villa have been not all that at all. I mean, you can show it here. I mean, just look at those statistics. Look at that. Newcastle have deserved a goal, maybe. And that's intercepted by Onana. Just look at that in this game. Barnes tries to whip it in, blocked. Villa, 2 shots, 2 on target. That came in the second half as well. It's just been nothing. Runs into Dan Burn. Harvey Barnes cuts it back. Gordon, this might be the one. Always touch, let him down. That was an opportunity. Touch, let him down. Yeah, well, that Tadibo thing, Ridwan, Bonehurt says, yeah, and this is why you have to be careful with transfer speculation, because in my opinion anyway, because he came from France and he was kind of French and he had a similar kind of build, we just convinced ourselves that Tadibo was the second coming of Raphael Varane, and he's very much not. Like, he's not a bad player, but he's like, Lenny Oro is a million times a better transfer. Like, it's not even comparable. Not even comparable at all. Nick Pope takes responsibility there. Sweeps that one up. Well done by Guimaraes. Guimaraes tried to play that ball through the middle to Gordon. Doesn't work out. Marlon, he's in the box. Cross goal, comfortable for Nick Pope. Here's Gordon on the left-hand side. Got to try and shift it onto his right foot. He's so much more comfortable. You can immediately see it there. Cuts it back. Harvey Barnes. Oh, my goodness me. Might land in St. Andrews. Was that high? But just immediately there, Gordon, off the left-hand side, looks way more comfortable and dangerous. He's not a striker. It can do a job there, but he's not a striker. Newcastle need a striker. Clear as day. If you haven't already, click the like button, folks. Be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. As we're about 2 minutes left plus stoppage time. Maybe a little bit of stoppage time because of the red card. Not that there was much VAR or delay, really. Yeah, if you were looking for this one for a bit of drama, I think a lot of people probably tuned into this game thinking it was going to show a bit of something. And, yeah, it really didn't, did it? Tonali couldn't take it forward. Gordon. Barnes. Oh, he slips over the ball. Probably just sums that up, doesn't it? Probably sums up the game. Absolutely sums up the game there. Six minutes of stoppage time to be added on. Will Asula is going to come on for Newcastle. Asula comes on, and like I said, we're about 30 seconds left of the regular 90 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how much stoppage time is added on. The ref didn't add on any at halftime because there was nothing. So it'll be interesting to see if he does the same here. Doesn't extend the game for the sake of it kind of situation. Get ball towards for the substitute, but they're just asking Ali McCoy who he thinks the player of the match is, and he said it's a bit difficult. I don't blame him. But it's a minimum of 6 minutes of stoppage time. I mean, I don't really know what I'm expecting coming out of this, to be honest with you. Out of that 6 minutes, are we really expecting all that much? Probably not, right? Goes back to Nick Pope, waiting for it. Quickly bowling the ball out to Guimaraes. 6 additional minutes at Villa Park. Maisie run by the English. Takes a shot. Bizot. Didn't work out for him. It's a good run. They get a decision, but yeah, not much there. Maybe they're going to be a last-minute opportunity for Villa. Stayed in, according to the referee. And it goes all the way back to Bizot in goal. Yeah, Ridwan says 6 minutes of war trash. It feels like it, doesn't it? My goodness. Rogers looking to nick one there, but tripped up over the ball. Tonali. Jacob Murphy. Back. Guimaraes. Surely not. Oh, he tried to slide it through towards Asula, but didn't work. And the referee gives a free kick. Is there going to be any late drama? Probably not. There's not been any drama, let alone late drama. Could you imagine? If you haven't already, click the like button. 10 likes away from 100 likes. We can hit something out of this game. And also be sure to subscribe to the Football Flex. Next stop, 22K. Dan Burn wins that header. Murphy for Newcastle. Should be a play that in behind that. So good pass. Asula. Into the box. Gives it back. Asula again. Takes a shot. Oh, I tell you what. Mings blocks it. I think that might have been just creeping. And Mings, he felt that one. Have a look. It wasn't a bad effort at all. Anthony Gordon to take the corner. Ball in. Oof, Bizot came out and punched it, but that's the least reassured thing that he's probably done the whole match. From the new Villa goalkeeper. As Unai Emery's trying to encourage his players. 90 seconds remain. Bailey. Luca Dean. Watkins. Oof. Cher didn't get there. Tonali did. And a free kick's been given to Aston Villa. He just pulls his arm down. Seven likes away from 100 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. And be sure to subscribe. As with a free kick, there's about 15 seconds left on this one. Well, longer. And there you go. That is full time. It is 0-0 at Villa Park. It all ends square. A rare draw for two teams that you expect goals out of. Two teams that were fighting out for the final position in the Champions League spots last season. They both, upon reflection, might take that. I think certainly Villa will, considering they went down to 10 men. Newcastle probably should have won the game, considering they had those opportunities in the first half. If you want to look at the statistics here of how this kind of looks, that's the kind of full look at the game. Newcastle, upon reflection, probably should have scored a goal, probably should have won the game. You're looking there an XG of 1.46 because they did have better chances. They had 16 shots in the end, only managed to get 3 of them on target, really desperately missing that centre forward. Villa, on the other hand, look, people will point to and go, yeah, well, they were down to 10 men, but they really stunk up the joint before that. You look at their first half performance when they had 11 players on the pitch. Look, nothing. They offered nothing in that first half. Newcastle, those 2 big chances for that expected goals of over 1. They should have been 1-0 up in the first half. Second half, still Newcastle dominated more in terms of, having more shots. Not so much on target, only the 1 on target. Villa did have the attacks there. But, of course, they had that red card, which kind of changed things, and Newcastle had more of the ball because of it. But still, it wasn't a good game to watch, was it? Let's be totally honest here. It wasn't a good game to watch. Wasn't really what people maybe thought coming into this Premier League weekend, but it's a 0-0. So there you go, guys. But look, whether the games are good or bad, I will be here on the Football Flex along with Flex this season to break them down. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. When we'll be back live on the Football Flex, we'll be back live. I'll be back doing a watch along next Friday. I'll be back next Friday for Chelsea versus West Ham. So be sure to join us then. Then next day, we'll be live for Manchester City versus Spurs. And then on Monday, we'll be back watching Newcastle again, this time against Liverpool. So I'll be live for that one as well. So a busy weekend next week. Flex is going to be putting up more videos here on the channel as well as we get through this opening Premier League weekend. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And click notifications. You'll be notified when I go live or when new videos are uploaded. You can check out Flex's reaction to Liverpool's 4-2 victory over Bournemouth last night as well. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned for more Football Flex content soon. I'm out of here. Peace.